Welcome into a brand new episode of Tribal Council Chat. As always, we are your hosts. My name is Bruce Heller.
And I'm Brett Parnell, who's actually here this week.
Yes, you're back on network airwaves, finally.
I'm back doing a recap show. I was here for a finale preview, but that was pretty short. Now we're covering the final.
This was a fun finale.
This was a fun finale. And, I think the end result is something we were all expecting, but it really had some twists and turns, notably around who actually got to the final three chairs, and gave us some really good character moments from really everybody that was here.
Yeah. So let's dive in. We have the post-tribal scene from last week, and we have Rizzo celebrating his idol around camp. He's singing a song at some point, I think. He's so fun.
Rizzo is a fun character. I don't know how this is playing out jury management-wise if he was to get to the end, which we see him not, but...
Yeah. I'm excited to watch him for another season, though. He's really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, we get a reaction to the Tribal Council where I was a bit surprised, but it seems like in addition to what we saw media-wise last week, that Steven really felt that he was going to win the game. The players agree with that.
Yeah.
So that was surprising to me, but I guess he was much more aware of his own spot in the game, which is impressive.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
And so we also see Sophi laying on the hammock talking to everyone pretty much about how dumb she played her advantage and how badly she misplayed that in front of the jury. Yes, you misplayed it, but nobody's going to fault you for that.
I think she's being a bit hard on herself. She didn't get the end result she wanted, but nobody could have predicted either that Steven's advantage would have had a weird twist to it, that he had to play it to production early.
Which, honestly, I do like that twist. I don't know.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was great for television. It just kind of messes with how it conflicts with Sophie's advantage.
Yeah. So the knowledge is power curse.
I think production could have played it better to be like, even though Steven's playing it early, to give that disadvantage to Savannah, I would have liked to maybe see he would have to put that out so that way it's a surprise to the person voting, but that something would still tell him maybe in a future season that the advantage is still yours until Savannah walks in to vote. So that would allow Sophi to possibly play that differently than he played it.
Maybe. I honestly don't have a problem with the mechanics of it, but she's worried about misplaying this in front of the jury. This is the first, I agree she's being kind of hard on herself. Yes, you misplayed it, but the jury's going to realize we've never seen an advantage that gets played like this before.
Exactly.
I don't necessarily think that needs to be changed, though. I think this worked out really well.
I don't think it needs to be changed, but I think in a season with knowledge is power, it kind of gave Sophie's advantage a bit of a lack of power simply because of the mechanics behind Steven's advantage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was probably designed when you think of knowledge is power that people are going to target idols over advantages. And I'm sure we'll get into this because I know it's my main part of the episode. Sophi and Rizzo were not going to use that advantage against each other.
Yeah, so me and AJ and Kevin were talking about this last week.
Yeah.
The scene in the episode where they give us a few confessionals right before Tribal
Mm-hmm.
of her talking about how stealing Rizzo's idol would be the smarter move.
Yeah.
How believable was that to you? I don't know if you
Zero.
listened to our episode or not, but
Yeah. To me, zero.
I was at zero then, and this, I think AJ said something similar. Like, there's kind of this thought of, well, maybe, like, but ultimately, I'm like, if she was really considering this, they would have shown us that way before they did.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that to their own fault, and I think that this is partially why this season was maybe more predictable than some other seasons, is that both Sophi and Rizzo were loyal players to their own fault.
Yeah.
And notably, when I say that, Sophi at least had her confessional moments, even though, and I think Sophi could have made that big move against Savannah in overall if the numbers were warranted her to do so, as opposed to just letting Savannah win.
She was prepared to make it at 5.
She was prepared to, but, and this is a big but, Rizzo was never going with it.
She didn't need Rizzo to go with it at 5, though.
No, but that shows a detriment to his game. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's why Rizzo got to the spot that he did and probably would have finished with 0 votes if he got to the final 3.
The one thing that disappoints, because I like the final 3 we got, I'm disappointed that we don't get to see how the jury would have reacted to him. Because I could see him being 0, but if it's him and Sophi and Sage at the final, I could also see him winning.
Interesting.
Like, I don't know what to...
I still don't think he has a chance to win in that 3. I think Sage wins that easily.
I mean, we saw Sage in a final 3, and the only vote she got was Jawan, who said it was a heart vote, not a head vote. Even the person that voted for her knew she didn't play the best game.
Because Savannah was there.
Yeah, but Savannah and Rizzo have the same resume. If Rizzo's there, he played a better game than her. They did everything together.
I mean, there was a lot of people that were there post Ben Twist that didn't play a better game than people who made the final 4 or final 3. Yeah. And yes, I'll always refer to a first fire making challenge as Ben Twist.
Yeah. And so, I mean, this is how it tends to be with duos, though.
Yeah.
Except for Guatemala, if half of a duo makes it to the end, they tend to get credit for all the moves because, I mean, they made them together. Somehow Stephanie made the end and everyone only gave credit for their duo to Rafe, but in this case, I think if it's Rizzo, Sophi, Sage, I think he has a good chance to win.
Interesting.
If not him, I think Sophi, though. Because we saw Sophi get more votes than Sage. So.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
I still think a final 3 without Savannah leads to a totally different, less obvious play, but we've had the same discussion about a winners at war final 3 without Tony, where you and I disagree.
Yeah.
I think fair, once you take out
on the winners at war one, but
and you aren't.
But why would I be biased for Sarah?
I'm talking about for Natalie.
No, where you and me disagree on winners at war is if I've said if Sarah wins fire, she wins the game.
Okay.
Natalie was never winning. I was rooting for her, but she wasn't.
Okay, somebody told me that maybe it wasn't you then, that they thought that Natalie would have won.
No, Sarah wins if she's there.
Okay. Well, we'll
Again, her and
disagree.
Tony made a lot of those moves together.
We'll disagree, but mostly because that's a story for a different day. We'll do a Winners at War episode someday.
Yeah. No, but where I said you're a bit biased was on the Sarah versus Michelle winning if Tony loses.
Oh, yeah. And I attribute that down to a bitter juror named Rob Mariano, but we'll never know.
Yeah. Oh, there's no way he votes for Sarah, so you might be
exactly.
But, and you'll disagree with me on this, then we'll get back to 49. In his final voting confessional for Tony, he was actually talking to Natalie and said, "You were almost perfect. You didn't take this guy out." If she sends Tony into fire and he loses,
I don't think sending him into fire is enough. Rob wanted her to go in there and beat him.
We'll never know because he won't come on our show for me to ask him. But either way.
Hey, I thought our show was called Dancing with the Stars and Dylan Efron was going to get him on here.
Either way, there's no chance that after the Green Tribe, which Green Tribe was it, Yara? There's no chance Sarah was ever getting his vote.
Exactly, and that
means we saw the two of them, like, even talking about that, both sounding bitter towards each other post-season also. So.
And that means there's no chance that Sarah was getting Amber's vote either.
No, but, I mean, Tony won 12-4-0. If she gets Tony's vote minus those two, she still wins.
Oh, we've had a lot of back-end confessionals about who voted for who and for what reasons.
Yeah, we should add that. Yeah, we should ask that question to a guest sometime, as if Sarah wins fire, who wins 40?
It would almost have to be a guest that was there, though.
I mean, we're having Steven on at some point, hopefully.
Oh, yeah, that would be a great point. Maybe you and I maybe we can have this discussion with Steven after we get his answer. And you and I can each make our own case.
I would, this isn't this episode, and we've probably gone already too far down the rabbit hole. But this would be a really, thought-provoking thing to break down sometime.
It would be.
Yeah. So, but going back to the episode, we see Sophi talking about how now that she's at 5, she can maneuver basically however she wants. Because Sage and Kristina want her and need her vote, and Rizzo and Savannah think she has blind loyalty to them, is the way she phrases it. She said, "They think I do." I think at that point you do. It's not they think, it's they know. But
yeah.
And, she's in a perfect spot here at 5.
Yes, absolutely. Excellent spot if you're Sophi. You pretty much having either side want you to go to the end. Sophie's biggest challenge would be and she does do it well, especially up against Savannah. She ends up getting 2 votes. But trying to get over that last hurdle between making it to final 3 and making it to number 1.
It took us 8 New Era seasons to get a final 3 where everyone got a vote, and now it's happened twice in a row.
Yep.
Also, I just want to make a quick callback to our preview for the finale, where one of the two of us predicted that if Savannah was there, it might be a unanimous jury vote. And in fact, not only was it not unanimous, but all 3 people got votes.
Impressive.
So, can't get all of them right, I guess. But she still won, so you were kind of right. Just not unanimous.
Yeah.
But then a boat arrives at camp.
We got a boat. And that boat, for the beginning of the finale, obviously has an advantage in the Final 5 challenge.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Boo?
Yeah. And
Okay.
so it's an advantage for the next challenge. It's hidden in the jungle, and we have to go find it.
We do.
And so this scene feels a lot like an idol hunt. Everyone's rummaging through the forest. Well, eventually everyone's running through the forest. You kind of have to solve this puzzle first. And Savannah finishes it first and takes off. And we get a throwback to the premiere. And Rizzo copies Savannah's puzzle just like he did Alex and then takes off. And people online are upset about this and saying he was cheating. That's fair game.
Yeah, Savannah could have easily destroyed her puzzle if she wanted. CT pro tip.
I don't know if I would have done it, but I also can't guarantee I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I know, like, I was texting with my mom about it, and she said, like, I'd want to do it on my own, but the temptation would be strong for me.
Oh, of course it would.
But
I don't know if you saw the challenge reunion. Speaking with your girl Di Validaris recently, but Johnny has a great line in there where he says, "If you're not cheating, you're not trying."
Yeah, I've heard that before. Was that about the food, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we reach a point where everyone's finished the puzzle and we're all rummaging through the woods and everyone's looking down and on the ground and amongst the plants. And Sophi realizes this and starts looking up, which is really
very smart. Yeah, very smart of Sophi. She figures out that also if you look at the map, the X is on a tree branch.
Yeah.
They told you right there.
Yeah, they did. That was smart.
It was.
And so Sophi gets that. She finds it. And so we get to the Final 5 immunity challenge.
Final 5.
The way it works is we crawl through a muddy pit. Then we dig up a grappling hook and use that hook to drop a ladder. And we climb up into a crow's nest to retrieve a rope. And we use that. This is so complicated. We use that rope to walk like down, like on top of this barrel. We're using the rope to pull ourselves down, basically.
Yep.
Poor Kristina took a dive off of that barrel at one point.
That looks so painful.
Like she was almost done, and she falls off and like falls to the ground, but hits her head on the barrel.
Yeah.
Then not only that, but has to restart.
Yeah, Kristina took some big knocks in this one. I felt bad for her.
Yeah, and so after you walk the barrel, you roll that along the sandy pathway. You end up at this tall platform where you maneuver a bag of puzzle pieces to the top and solve a puzzle. And Sophie's advantage was that the puzzle, when you get to the platform, the puzzle bag was already halfway up.
Yep. Good advantage.
Yeah, big advantage.
But in the end, the advantage isn't enough to outweigh Savannah's challenge domination this season.
Speaking of, I believe in the finale preview, you said you were very strong that Savannah was winning both immunity challenges.
I thought she would, and she only tied the record.
But she wins this one. But here's what was running through my head through the entirety of this challenge. Is if Rizzo wins.
Yeah.
That idol gets given to Savannah, right?
More than likely.
So.
Or he tries to Marianne that thing, even though we all knew he had it.
Yeah, pulling your idol out at Final Tribal as a surprise move doesn't work when we've known you've had it since the merge.
It doesn't, but it's Rizzo showboating his idol. which basically was an everyday occurrence this season.
Yeah, but that was my thought is, does he give the idol away if he wins immunity? He does not. Savannah wins, chooses Sage to go on reward with her. This was an interesting choice.
Yeah, this was an interesting choice, but I think I've always said this season that it seemed like when a lot of people were thinking one move at a time, Savannah was playing soccer and just thinking a dozen moves ahead. And this is extremely smart that she takes Sage and not takes Rizzo. Because if she takes Rizzo, she does two things. She keeps her number one, and she shows that in her alliance there's a pecking order, and it's her and Rizzo that started together on day one, and Sophi who came at the swap, and therefore is a stage lower on the ladder. That's only giving Sophi an opportunity to be like, hey, Kristina, Sage, I'm number 3. You want to work with me? And if Sophi doesn't do that, we all know Kristina and Sage would, because they have to stay in the game. So
at this point, though, there's nothing Sophi can do working with Sage and Kristina. Rizzo's got an idol and Savannah's immune.
Yeah, but you never know.
But yeah, and so this is where we find out in confessional from Sophi. She was planning to blindside Savannah here if she hadn't won immunity.
Yeah. I still think it's smart from Savannah's thinking at the beginning, even though, yes, you are right that there's those two pieces of safety which do block anything. But the fact that Savannah is taking Sage just makes sure that the numbers always stay within Savannah's point of view.
Yeah, the Sage choice it surprised me, but it's smart.
Yeah.
This next confessional, though, Sophi was planning to blindside Savannah. If Savannah doesn't win immunity here and Sophi pulls that off, I think she ends up winning.
I agree.
So we also see back at camp Rizzo talking to Sophi, and they agree they would rather sit with Kristina at the end than Sage.
Which is smart, but then they don't end up doing it.
Yeah, and here's why. Because you had said a minute or two ago, Savannah was always playing 12 steps ahead. When she gets to back to camp, we see this discussion with her and Rizzo. And in my opinion, Savannah was actually playing very short-sightedly here.
Yeah, I agree.
But she's Savannah at this point. Like, everyone's been saying the whole season. Well, not the whole season, but lately.
Once Savannah has her final 5 immunities, she needs to do one of two things. She needs to win immunity or she needs to win fire. If she can do that, she's a millionaire. If she can't do that, she's going home.
If you're Savannah and you're able to be short-sighted because everyone, like the past few episodes, has been hyping up that if you're at the end, you win.
Yeah.
But Rizzo's saying he wants to send Sage home because he wants to sit next to Kristina at the end. Savannah wants to send Kristina home because she's afraid of facing Kristina in fire.
Right.
Normally, this is the one time where I don't feel like Savannah was thinking 12 steps ahead. I think she was playing short-sightedly, and I think Rizzo had the smarter idea here.
Yeah, I agree. But it ends up being Savannah's idea that wins out, whether it's right or wrong, and we have a final 4 with Sage, Rizzo, Savannah, and Sophie B.
Yeah. And I don't know how Savannah won out there. Because Sophi agreed with Rizzo, I thought. So
yeah.
I don't know how Kristina ends up going here.
And that is kind of where I started to say that and this is exactly what I was thinking of when I said that Rizzo was far too loyal at his own fault.
Yeah.
And why I think Rizzo would have desperately struggled if he got to final tribal council. Probably in the same light as Xander, who I know we made that comparison a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I do think he's a better player than Xander, though.
That's fair. I do feel.
And so, yeah, Kristina does go at 5, which I don't remember what you predicted. I predicted she would go at 5.
I predicted Sage would go at 5 and that she'd go at 4.
But final tribal wise, this was a bad move for Rizzo and Sophi. They should have stuck to their guns. They should have sent Sage home here. And
Absolutely.
Sophi ends up beating Sage at the end, so maybe not, but that was my note here.
I mean, she beat Sage by 1 vote. I don't think Kristina would have got any.
I mean, she beat her by 1 vote, but she still beat her at that point.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
If it's 1 vote or like.
No, it doesn't matter in the least. I just don't think Kristina would have got any votes.
Yeah, I agree. But so we go to the final 4 immunity challenge.
Yep.
And the way this works is you leap into the ocean and you start making your way towards shore, where you then dig under a log and crawl through that log. And then you travel across a balance beam, and you're collecting 2 handles and a ball along the way. And then you use those handles you collected to collect a second ball from a wire cage. And then you assemble a table and a track, and you maneuver the balls along it with like the little tilty table things.
Fun final immunity.
It was.
We haven't got this challenge before, I don't think.
And it's not one we've seen a million times.
Yeah, that was kind of my point.
I complain about that like I didn't vote for Samotion and fans voting, by the way.
Well, we will see what the final challenge is. Sorry, I stepped up. I just thought I needed to sneeze. We will see what the final challenge is for 50 in about 4 months.
I don't even mind Samotion, honestly. They just have used it for final immunity like a million times lately.
Yeah.
But I liked it better than the other 2 options we got from that.
That's true.
I don't know how that's the 3 options they came up with, though.
Leave it to Hollywood.
So Sophi ends up winning. She lost the challenge she had an advantage in, but she wins this one, which I was very excited about.
Yeah.
So
I was not as excited here just because, I mean, it's impressive in Savannah's case that she got to join Kelly, Jenna, Kim, and Chrissy. It would have been nice to see that record get smashed.
Yeah. And so we get back to camp, and Sophi does something interesting here. She's kind of not hearing people's cases or not letting people plead their argument.
Yeah. I mean,
I kind of like it.
I loved it. I find a lot of this whole people pleading their cases is just not really that relevant anyway. Ultimately, the winner is going to do what they want to do. And it was nice to just see, like, okay, guys, go practice fire. Don't try to worry about it. Also, we've seen so many times the person who gets dragged to the end doesn't do as well. So, whatever.
Yeah. I've just become so accustomed to everyone giving your argument to the final immunity winner.
Yeah.
I enjoyed something different. I liked seeing
I think today I did too, but I also think today people don't necessarily care so much about whether they're just chosen or not because they recognize that being chosen just makes the game harder to win.
Yeah. And so we see, and I like Savannah, but my response to like what I'm about to read was just kind of like, really?
Yeah.
She talks about how she feels like she's getting screwed over because Sophi mentioned this is a hard choice, which means Sophie's considering putting me in, is what Savannah said.
Yeah.
You're not getting screwed over. This is a game. You're an obvious front runner to win. Why
Yep.
wouldn't she
Very true.
consider putting you in? Come on.
I mean, people, when they're in these conditions, say a lot of things that don't make a lot of sense in the hindsight.
Yeah. And so we get to final tribal. Sophi takes Sage with her to 3 and puts Savannah and Rizzo and Fire against each other, which I think was her best course of action here.
Absolutely. Best course of action. One of them is going to go, and it makes for a very big television moment between two allies since day one.
Yeah. So, and Savannah does end up beating Rizzo, like we've talked about her winning the game already, so that's not a spoiler. Yep. But it was a fun fire making contest.
It was a fun fire making contest, but ultimately Savannah wins pretty easily.
Yeah. Possibly the last fire making contest at 4.
Yeah. I mean, we know that odds are it's going to be taken out for 50. That seemed to be the consensus of the fan base. We'll see about 51. I don't think it'll be the last one because I think 4 as a number is just designed to split 2-2 and have fire making happen genetically. But it's more fun when it happens by the will of the votes and not by forcing it.
Yeah. So you don't think they bring back this version of it in 51, though?
I don't know.
If you had to make a prediction, though.
I think the same way that 41 was a new era, I think 51 might be a new era.
Interesting. I'm not convinced.
I think if they're going to go back to just, okay, we finished in the hands of the fans, it was amazing, and now we're just 51, 3 tribes, the same rewards, the same structure, the same twist, the same fire making, all as we did in New Era Survivor, I think that might be a very bad day for the show.
I think as much as they've hyped up the new era and like the new mechanics compared to like 40 and before, yep. I don't think they're gonna just create another new version of the game at 51. I think we're gonna keep this version for a while.
Interesting.
Like 50 isn't a different version of the game than 41 to 49. I mean it kind of is, but it's not drastically different.
We're going to see exactly how much is different once we start watching it.
Yeah. I mean, they put Final 4 to the vote, but I could see it having a similar vibe to it. I don't think 51 will just be a complete new version.
The players are getting a live reunion in California.
That's true. We assume.
Kind of like you with Final Immunity, that it said live reunion in LA or final vote discussion in Fiji, and I was like, are these really my 2 options?
What would you prefer? Those are the only 2 options we've seen.
A live reunion in New York City, like the good old days.
Okay, well, I don't live.
Maybe I'm a little biased that I'm also in the East Coast of North America, but
yeah, I don't live close enough to either coast for it to make a difference to me what city the live reunion is in.
Be my NY because Hollywood hates me. That's all I'll say.
Well, just go to California.
I hate that place.
So does everyone that doesn't live there, and some of the people that do, I think.
Very true.
But yeah, I'm interested in seeing if this is the final version of forced fire making at 4. I'm good either way. I know some people hate it. I don't mind it, but I'm not going to be sad if it's gone either.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, but Rizzo loses fire. He gets to his torch snuffed. And he gets Jeff to call him by his nickname when he's.
That was funny.
It's just such a Rizzo thing to do, to say, don't call me by my name, call me by my nickname when you snuff my torch.
How many times are we gonna get the myth, the legend, RIZGOD baby in 50?
I don't know.
A lot, I assume.
But there's 50 is such a stacked cast, though, that they have a lot of big personalities. Rizzo was the biggest personality on this season and got a ton of airtime.
Do you not think that
Rick Devens on it now?
Do you not just imagine Rizzo trying to get Coach to call him Riz God?
He will, but I don't think his confessional count will be what it was in 49.
That is 100% fair.
Because you mentioned Coach, but you've also got guys like Rick, who I love.
Yep.
Who is also a confessional machine.
Yep.
So, all three of those guys, and probably more, are going to eat into each other's confessional count from their original.
Colby.
So, do what?
I said Colby will get a lot of airtime coming back from season 2.
Dude, Colby has hair now. That kind of threw me off in the 50 premiere. We'll get to the 50 preview at the end. But Colby having hair threw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
And I guess he had hair on All-Stars, but Australian Outback and Heroes vs. Villains, he had really short hair.
Bruce with the All-Stars reference of the day.
I forget. Yeah. We're not as bad about that as we used to be. Maybe we
no. But when it happens, it just has to get pointed out.
Yeah. And so we get this scene where the final three are talking about each juror. And, is this the new era version of Rites of Passage?
I think so, but I think it's more than necessarily just sort of Rites of Passage, because they always did this. It's just, it used to be on YouTube. And then now they're putting it into the show, which I love, to get that commentary from the jury.
That's what I was going to say, because, when I typed Rites of Passage was before the jury started speaking, and it's when just the final three were going through talking about each one.
Yeah.
As we go, we're getting the jury speaks also, which has been happening for a few seasons.
Which, speaking of Rites of Passage, we're going to be doing the Tribal Council chat Rites of Passage next week.
That should have been one of the 50 votes. Should we bring back Rites of Passage for the finale?
I don't know if they would put that to a vote, because that might be the one kind of old school thing that could possibly get a no vote.
I could see that vote.
I think it's divisive. Yeah.
But that's why they should put it.
I know, I always said I didn't mind it because, and to me, I never found Rites of Passage great to watch from a television point of view. I liked it in the concept of it gave every single player, even the one, because we got to remember, even the person who gets voted out first, still when it comes to all the audition and casting portion of this journey you're on to be on Survivor, gave about 9 months of their life to be on this show.
Yeah.
And the one thing I really like about Rites of Passage is it even gives that first 30 seconds of the finale to be like, I was part of this too. But it was never that enjoyable to watch.
Fair enough. So we move into Final Tribal. We have Savannah, Sophi, and Sage. And my first note is the question was, I forget how it was phrased, but it was kind of a move you created, I guess.
Yeah.
And Sage uses that as an opportunity to take credit for the Steven vote.
Yeah.
Is that how that happened? I thought Rizzo kind of approached Sage about that and said, what if we vote Steven out?
Yeah, I agree.
Good for Sage, but as she was doing that, I'm like, and I don't remember this the way you do, but maybe I'm misremembering. But this Final Tribal was, this wasn't a blowout. This felt like a fight for most of it. Not 47, where it was just felt like a dog fight back and forth, but this felt competitive to me.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely did feel a bit competitive. And then we get to Kristina's question, which is where I
This
mean,
is the moment everyone talks about from the
throwback to old school Survivor. I never really knew. I didn't know how the jury was going to take this and if it was going to be important to anybody but Kristina, unlike if this was, say, season 2 or 3. But it sure caused a lot of attention.
Yeah, and I'll say this. And Kristina's question was basically asking Savannah to name a loved one from each person on the jury. I don't mind the question. I've seen it comes off as a bit harsh, but those two never liked each other the whole time. That's
Yeah.
completely fair. But
but as I pointed out online, somebody commented about this and said Savannah won, but she didn't play a social game at all, or else she'd be able to answer this question.
Yeah,
and the one thing that I commented on is that we got a lot of comparisons from Savannah herself earlier in the season to a very famous contestant named Russell Hantz. And one thing I pointed out is that, yes, that might be accurate to a point, but at the same time, Savannah did play enough social game, unlike, say, Russell, that she still got the vote she needed to win.
My thought on this, and I saw someone comment this online too, and I forget who or where it was. She wasn't able to name every person, but I think she still handled it fairly well. The people that she wasn't able to name the person for, she was still able to give like a fact about them. Like, yeah, I don't know this, but I know this other thing.
And that's exactly the difference. Is Savannah was playing the strategic game, and she saw Survivor as a game, one that relationships could all heal after. But she still played enough of the social game to like communicate with her tribe mates. Russell just saw all 17 other players as if I could vote them out in 1 minute, I would.
Yeah. So I have a few things on this, and from just a few different perspectives. One of which was reading like EW interviewing Kristina afterwards. And let me find this. She says that she didn't plan to do that, and she had forgot she had even said before the season, I'm gonna vote based on who plays a good social game.
Yeah.
But apparently, like during challenges, anytime someone was struggling, this is a thing they would do. If they would say, "Do it for this person, do it for Brandon or for Nico or whoever," and they'd call names out to each other.
Yeah.
So, in that sense, like, yes, this is a bad look for Savannah that she struggled that much. But I personally suck at memory sometimes.
I was going to say
that type of pressure, if I remember the name of someone I haven't met for that many people, I would still struggle also.
You nailed it when you said that type of pressure, because I remember the first time I did an interview to work in the Canadian Parliament as a summer student, and one of the questions I was asked was name 3 cabinet ministers, and I could barely do it other than the fact that the interviewer didn't know I had question period, which is our like House of Representatives debates, on television while I was in the interview with no sound and could quote people's faces to her. And I probably could have named 20 in my normal life, but I was under the pressure of trying to answer a question to someone on the phone. And that when I watched this scene take place, that's exactly what I've got brought back to back in 2011 for me trying to get a job.
Yeah. One person who does not, and I was talking about this with, that does not feel the way I do, is our friend Kevin, who's a host and contributor here on the Reality Realm Network. He said that in large part because of this answer, Savannah would not have gotten his jury vote.
Interesting.
So,
well, we're gonna have Kevin on Rites of Passage. I can't wait to talk to him about that and see why he would have reacted so strongly.
Yeah.
Because to me, it would have been like, I mean, if I was Kristina and asked that question, I get it, but this wouldn't have been a question that I would have asked, nor would I have cared about the answer of.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other questions I would have been more likely to ask on the jury, including one of them throwback to Greg Buis and Kelly Wigglesworth would be pick a number between 1 and 10.
Yeah.
That would be about more important. But that's just me. And that's the great thing about Survivor is that, and I think Tom kind of says this in All Stars when Jenna goes home to see her family, or her mother. But Tom makes the point of, I'm Tom and I'll do what's right for Tom, and Jenna has to do what's right for Jenna. And that's what the jury system really allows, is 7, 8, 9 people to really ask the final 3 what's important to them and not necessarily have to follow the same structure in every game. And it's why I really like that they're bringing us back to the pre-Michelle winning jury system that production kind of pushed away from when they were a little butthurt about Aubrey losing, of not structurally forcing us to. I knew you would laugh at that.
I had to get that little dig in there, didn't you?
Yeah, but of not really structuring it towards 3 man-made elements of the game and letting the jury speak its mind.
Yeah, I agree. So,
and hey, we all know that that's when the jury system just totally changed.
Yeah. Oh no, like, I know. It's just funny you had to get the little
a dozen seasons
dig in there as to why you think that happened.
Yeah.
To be fair, they did a whole season after Co Wrong before they introduced the new jury format. Maybe they were mad about Adam winning.
Yeah, maybe, but I think there was probably just not enough time to restructure and test something new.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Adam beating Ken and Hannah would be that controversial in production's mind.
Yeah. So
if production had a favorite in Millennials versus Gen X, it's obviously David Wright.
Yeah, which David Wright's awesome. He has an awesome story that season.
He does.
So I also have a quote from Savannah here at Final Immunity. Oh, before we get off of the Kristina thing, I was watching a video this morning of her talking, just post-game press. And, like, this was in her head going into 50. So she was, like, making a point to be, like, super social and, like, asking people their loved ones' names. And would use the loved one's name in a sentence so she could remember it. Which is kind of funny.
Yeah, that was.
So, good for her for adapting moving forward. We'll see how she does on 50. But man, this quote from her later in Final Tribal, I forget what the question was, but she said, "I'm loyal to the soil. I wasn't trying to send my biggest allies into fire at 4. That's not my game."
Yep.
Great way to not only prop yourself up, but take a slight dig at the person sitting next to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which, that was Sophie's best move, of course.
It was. Unfortunately for Sophi, she just didn't get what she needed to happen out of that fire making challenge. Again, I'll push people on it should be a vote at for, but hey, maybe we're going to get one next season. In fact, I think they've already confirmed we are.
Yeah. So. But yeah, this was fun. Savannah does end up winning.
Yep.
I do have a quote here from Rizzo that I saw on Reddit post-season stuff. Is he was asked if he had beaten in Savannah, would he have won the game? And this is his take on it, so who knows? But he said 100%. Had Sav lost fire, I would have won. The jury has told me that, multiple of them.
Okay.
And I know that's crazy because, oh, no, this was Sophie saying this. Sorry. Because Rizzo played such an incredible game, but with the relationships I had and the perception in game is reality, I've been told by, I can't read it here. I've been told that had Rizzo beat Sav and Fire, I would have won. So maybe Rizzo doesn't win. I had forgotten until I started reading that was.
So I'll take back what I said about Sage would have won, but that was my impression coming in.
But this is also like one person saying this, and it's jurors saying that after the fact. There's no way of knowing how they would have voted.
No, for sure.
But for some reason, I had screenshotted that and had in my head it was a Rizzo quote till I got about halfway through reading. So,
it happens.
But I still, I think he would have had a decent shot.
Yeah. It would have been very even, that's for sure. All three ways.
Do you have any more thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, but like I said, I think that would have been a lot more even, but this season really, I guess the overall theme, I think, is that we had it has a really good lesson for future Survivor players. And that's that if you want to fulfill your dreams of winning, you got to get rid of the one big threat in your way, regardless of if he or she is your ally.
Yeah. So, and before we sign off, 50 trailer, what are your thoughts?
Just seeing some of these people together is wild. I remember watching during Winners at War on Fair Play's podcast, Fair Play and Jenna Lewis talking about season 40, and Jenna said she wanted to play again, and it's like, okay, you were on season 1, she's back. That's just going to be amazing.
My favorite thing about her that I've seen was that Rizzo was like 3 months old the first time she played.
Yeah. Seeing Colby back, amazing. Coach is an old man now, apparently. I didn't even recognize him at first. Shout out to her new Instagram account. Genevieve now has a public Instagram. And she's made the point that even though she wasn't in the preview, she's still there. I love that. We're getting some top tier new era and some top tier old era playing against each other. And then some players from kind of the middle of that. We see Aubrey again. We see Angelina again. We see Emmy Award-winning director Mike White back on Survivor. It's going to be fun.
We see Jonathan for some reason.
We do. As far as the only thing that I'm not sold on, I don't know where they're going with these celebrity moments. I really hope that doesn't interfere with the game and make it more Hollywood and less reality TV, because that would be a big disappointment.
Yeah.
If it's a short appearance for 5 seconds, I don't care. If the whole season takes over by people that aren't playing, I'm going to be like, come on, guys, you had such a big chance here and blew it.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I will say this, is there's been a lot of online discussion about the celebrity thing. And those of you that listen to this show know that I tend to have heard me say this about a bunch of topics. Survivor Twitter is blowing this out of proportion.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And I was texting with Steven about this on Twitter, and I'm just kind of waiting to see how they do this.
That's it.
Like the Mr. Beast thing, to me, that clip where he's just putting a briefcase on a table, that feels like he makes a cameo at like an auction.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, there's a ton of Survivor people on the next season of one of his shows.
Okay, yeah.
So I could see him coming on to promote that, giving
that makes sense.
whatever. And if that's the case, I don't mind. And then
I just laughed when he was putting a briefcase on a table because I'm like, are they mentioning that another show that Robin Perv did is now gone, sadly? I'm going to miss that this year.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is officially dead, which stinks. But
David took all the money this show had.
I think David Gannott won all the money in their budget for the next 5 seasons.
Yeah, I think so.
But looking at this celebrity by celebrity, Mr. Beast, that's what I'm assuming it is.
Yeah.
And Survivor Twitter is freaking out about why they have these celebrity appearances, as you can get. Facebook's probably doing it too. Twitter's been giving me. Twitter goes through spells where I get a ton of Survivor Twitter in my Twitter feed.
And Threads is doing it as well.
And, I don't know about Threads. Well, Threads is a lot of the people that left Twitter when someone they don't like bought it. So, but Twitter is such an echo chamber when it comes to Survivor. They all agree on everything, and they start blowing it out of proportion the more they talk.
I left Twitter for Threads, and it has nothing to do with who owns it and what their U.S. political views are. It has to do with the fact that my account was basically just being spammed by bots in working for the Chinese Communist Party about Canadian issues.
Okay, yes, but I'd venture to say you're the minority. Threads created after he bought Twitter, and Threads and Blue Sky and all these are just people that didn't want to use a platform that was owned by someone they don't like.
Fair enough.
Mostly. I know you're on Threads, Kevin is on Blue Sky, but that's kind of how I think of those platforms.
Yeah, makes sense.
But if we take this celebrity by celebrity, that's my prediction for Mr. Beast. I thought nothing of that.
Yeah.
But Christian saying Jimmy Fallon could decide my fate, that could legit be a normal conversation at camp.
It could be.
I don't think that's any sort of Jimmy Fallon sponsored. It's well known and it's been documented for years. He sends Probst ideas for the show.
Yeah.
That could literally be a conversation that happened this season.
Absolutely.
And literally, as we're recording, I was texting with Kevin about this, who is convinced that I'm wrong on that. And that because they put it in the 50 trailer between Mr. Beast and Zach Brown, that means Jimmy Fallon is involved in some way. I think this is just an organic conversation. These trailers are edited all the time to hype us up and mislead us.
Yeah.
What we think happens in these trailers is never what actually happens. So, maybe I'm wrong. I could see me being wrong. I think the Jimmy Fallon thing is just a comment that was made at camp that they're using because Jimmy's name has buzz value.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Zach Brown, I've got nothing for. That one. And naming an advantage the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol, I've got nothing for it. That one kind of sketches me out.
I'm lost.
Unless it's just Rick being Rick and naming it.
I was going to say that could just be Rick.
If anyone is going to just... I don't think this is it. I think they named the idol that. But if
Okay.
anyone would just randomly name an idol something like that on their own, it would be Rick, and I love him
Yeah.
for that. But Billie Eilish has also talked recently about being a Survivor fan. So I think
Oh, really? I didn't know that, but then I don't follow her, so
I don't
I have
follow
no
her
idea.
super closely. I saw a video of her saying it on Instagram at one point, but
Mm.
yeah, I don't love naming an idol after her. The Jimmy Fallon thing, I'm strongly confident they just took that out of normal context speech conversations because they said his name and that has buzz value.
Yeah.
Like these trailers are meant to mislead us. So, but the online community is freaking out about these celebrity appearances. And I'm just like, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I have no idea what to think.
I think it'll be fine. I think Mr. Beast is going to show up, auction off whatever's in his briefcase. Because I'd like to think we have an auction in 50.
I hope you're right. And hopefully it's not a lose your vote auction where everyone just bids all their money one at a time.
I'd rather have that than the Worlds Apart one and like the ones before that where like we were saving all our money for advantages and not bidding on anything.
That's fair.
As far as and I know like they've done what 2 new era ones. They did 45
Yeah.
and then they.
It's just there's no actual auction if everyone is inclined to throw everything they have at one item.
Yeah, the Worlds Apart one where no one was bidding on anything, waiting for advantage, killed the auction for a while. And
Yeah.
they did the lose your vote thing to discourage that.
Yeah.
But literally, all you have to do is not put advantages or idols in the auction.
That's right.
Which the last one they did, I'm pretty sure there was some advantage in it still. And like, did y'all not learn your lesson from before it got killed?
Yep. Very true.
Leave the idols and advantages out of it. I love the auction. We did it before I started paying for Zoom. We did a 2-part series just about the auction.
We sure did.
But leave the idols out of it. That's my prediction for Mr. Beast, though, is I think he just makes even if it's not an auction specifically, I think he's
right.
making a cameo. I don't think he's like super involved.
Yep.
Zach Brown, I have no idea. Maybe it's like country concert at the sanctuary where good things happen. Like
that'd be funny.
I don't know, but we'll see. But yeah, with that being said, everyone grab your torches and head back to camp. Goodbye.
What up, Bruce?
Oh, yeah.
What about a final line blindside first boot for the season?
Yeah, that slipped my mind again.
That's okay. If you don't have one, I can just do mine and then we can wrap up.
No, you go first. I'll think on the spot.
All right. I am going to give you some larger-than-life characters that ended up coming third place as female castaways. So you're going to get Sage from this season, Carolyn from 44, and Angelina from 37.
What was the first name you said?
Sage.
Gosh, this is a weird group.
That was kind of the point.
I can't even do my normal strategy of, it's been proven I can go to the end with this person and beat them, because that's true of all 3.
They all came third.
And I don't think 2 of them didn't get votes. So.
That's right.
Gut feeling, first boot Sage, blindside Angelina, and align with Carolyn.
Interesting. I'm going to flip yours. I'm still going to blindside Angelina. She's the one I don't want to sit with at the end, even though she did get 0 votes. I think Angelina was just struggling to not embarrass herself in a few moments in that season, and I think she'll easily correct it by 50. I'm going to align with Sage and first boot Carolyn. Carolyn's now got a lot of experience on different shows and knows a lot of people. Sage was brand new and I think was a very good player and would be a good ally in the right setting. Unfortunately, she lost control of the numbers.
Yeah. Which, Sage losing control of the numbers. You weren't here for this. I'd love to hear your thoughts because me and AJ were having a time talking about this.
Yeah.
The episode where Sophi S goes home.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, Sage has spent multiple episodes only gunning for Savannah.
Yep.
Beginning of that episode after Joanne goes home literally says to Sophi, you just handed Savannah a win. Mm-hmm. Savannah finally doesn't win immunity. And Sage sends Sophi S home.
Make it make sense.
Yeah. I guess we talked about a little bit about that in the finale preview, but
yeah.
I was texting with my mom after the finale, and like that's where Sage lost me. That's where I stopped trying to understand why she does things.
Yeah, very true.
When I started that spiel, I forgot we had talked about it in the preview, to be honest. But
that's okay. Do you have 3 players?
Yeah, so I will give you. Which, by the way, quick note on the 50 preview. I'm already thinking about draft strategies. And like have a list. And like,
I'm laughing, but not gonna lie, so am I.
There's someone I want, but I think I could get them later. But if I don't take them first and then lose them, I'll be sad. So I'm like already deep in thought about this.
I'm gonna guess that's a winner from the new era.
Yes.
Okay.
But like, I don't think anyone thinks a winner has a great shot. So I think I could get that lower. But if I don't take it first and someone else takes it, I'll be sad. So like,
someone who, if you watch the challenge reunion, is still kicking it with Johnny Bananas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which I don't feel like I wasn't going to reveal it. I don't feel like I'm blowing any big secret. Everyone in our draft and our audience probably knows I want D in the draft.
Yeah.
But do I need to take her with my first pick is what I'm
That's true.
And I have 2 months to figure
we will see. Out. Yeah, you have 2 months. Well, a month and a half.
I'm coming in hard trying to defend my title, though. I'm already like putting a draft list on my phone of the order I want people in. So
I'm already assuming that I'm going to lose because I always lose.
I've won one now, and it's kind of addicting. I'd like to do it again. And I don't know. We'll ask Kevin next week. He keeps track of the scores. I think I won by a lot. So.
And you get 4 players this time.
Yes. So your 3 names, because our season ended with a 50 trailer, I'll give you names from 50.
Okay.
And this is just going to be off the top of my head. This isn't off of my list or anything, so don't read into this. Don't think I'm giving you strategy. But I'll give you, because we talked about him, I'll give you Rick. I know I'm a big Rick guy. I think you're less so.
Yeah. I shouldn't say less so. I mean, I think Rick is a great player. I think he's entertaining. I'm more so anti-Edge than I am necessarily anti-Rick. I just didn't like how Julie was able to persuade the whole group to go against Lauren's idea of just send him straight back.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what I would have done.
Yeah.
It's a game for $1 million. It's not a game for someone's feelings.
Let me ask you this before I say my other 2 names.
All right.
If he beats Chris and Fire and then wins the game, is he a slightly better winner than Chris was just because he spent more days in the game?
Yes, no question. He played the whole merge.
I don't even think it's slightly. I think he's a definite.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you asked me, though.
He was playing hard, too. It wasn't just like, oh.
You asked me the question with the word slightly ingrained, but no, I think he's a far better winner.
Yeah. So.
All right, who are your 2 other names?
Yeah, so you've got Rick and you've got because I commented on his longer hair throwing me off, I'll give you Colby also.
Okay.
And then from season 2, I'll go up to season 48 and give you Camilla.
Interesting.
Just to throw things off a little bit.
So I am going to align with Colby. I think I'm very excited to see Colby in this game. I think the game is going to hit him like a wall of bricks and be a totally different player than what he thinks he's getting into. And that's something I could beat at the end. That leaves me to. I'm going to blindside Devins here. I would love to see just what Rick would bring to a jury. He obviously knows how to speak while he's in front of a camera for a living. I think he'd be a great juror. That's going to leave Camilla to, unfortunately, be the first boot just by the process of an elimination.
Yeah.
You?
I think Camilla's the strongest player here.
Yeah.
I'm going to first boot her because if she's at the end, I don't think I win.
Okay.
I'm going to blindside Colby, but definitely not first boot him because he helps my tribe in challenges pre-merge and keeps us away from tribal, which is the whole point of the pre-merge, is stay away from tribal.
Right.
Which leads me to a line side with Rick, and I'm banking on him rubbing people the wrong way, which sometimes he does. And then there's people like me and Kevin that love Rick. So
True.
It's a bit of a gamble, but I feel
better I like it.
End with him than the other two.
Nice. Well, that was fun. We will be back for Rites of Passage, wrapping up season 49 next week. We'll then be going into a few weeks of off-season content. I had some big plans for off-season. We're going to get to a few of them, but it really is only 5-6 weeks. And then we'll be right back here in early February. Probably, I guess we'll do the fantasy draft the week after the Super Bowl.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah, Super Bowl's the 8th, I want to say, so we'll probably do it sometime that week. And then be ready to go before the season starts. Season 50 in the hands of the fans coming in February. Can't wait.
Yeah.
And with that, grab your torches and head back to camp.
Yep. Bye, everyone.
Bye.